Thanks for staying with us. So last week, a news broke that broke a lot of hearts of many Nigerians about an alleged sexual against a minor by somebody quite popular in Lagos State by the name of Dr. Femi Olaleye. The news got out on social media last week, and it got a lot of attention. And this news was initially broken by Princess Damilola Adekoya, she's probably known as Princess, on social media. And then the conversation was taken up by Kate Henshaw. And from then on, lots of comments on social media concerning this very popular doctor in Lagos State. This is a really sad situation because there's a child involved. And a lot of young girls go through this, and they have nobody to fight for them or defend them. And when we see these kind of opportunities, we bring it on the front burner because we need to set a new precedent to ensure that these girls get justice if indeed they were defiled. In this case in particular, you've heard from Princess, you've heard from Dr. Femi Olaleye, we've heard from the police. And the concern we've talked about so far is the fact that the legal department of the Nigerian police are dragging their feet for at least 6 months to charge this case, or a year, to charge this case to court. And that's questionable. That's one angle. Very, very. There's an angle of the fact that the wife is being alleged to be trying to victimize or to blackmail her husband. I don't know what, that's what according to Dr. Olaleye is saying, that she is having these malicious allegations against her, which is, according to him, is false, and he's trying to blackmail him. I don't know what that is about. And thirdly, there's a part of the elders, you know, like Mama Rainbow in the other issue, and this one, the allegation saying being held against the mother of Dr. Femi, saying that she was saying that there's nothing, this is nothing new under the sun, in a nutshell. That they should forgive him, that, you know, because we all heard the audio where she was telling the wife that, listen, my son can't die, you can't kill my son. There's nothing that he has done that's not been done before in the world. These are. You heard that audio? Yeah, I heard the audio. And I think it was Princess that sent that audio to me. You know, there's nothing that the world has not heard before. You know, that these are things that her son would not die, and that you know, at least he has apologized, stuff like that. So there's that part of, okay, where do we draw the line between culture and a case like this? You know, because people say, he's your sister, he's your brother, he's your daughter. Please, now they know how we do it in Yoruba culture. Just let us not shout it too much. We'll find a way to resolve it within our family. So that's there. Those are the 3 different areas I'd like us to discuss. Which other one jumps at you? It's 4. It's 4. Which other one? Betrayal of the trust of women who know how serious issues around women are, who have put their cause, who have joined this cause, who have trusted a medical foundation. People will say, don't go to an individual, go to an establishment. Yeah. Who have trusted and put their words, the Kate Henshaws, the other ladies, people who have put their stake on it, people who have sponsored free clinics on Fridays, and women whose bodies most likely might have been violated in a very, very negative, covetous way, as reported by or alleged by Princess in this situation. Because I have had to see, all my life when I saw fertility doctors, I saw male fertility doctors. One of them, the particular one of them, did something that I thought, kill me, in checking if I was ovulating or developing. And I felt violated. I cried that day till the next day. I don't understand why, when women now, you know, medically in Islam is the only reason a male can touch a woman. And if I allow that exception, why should I be abused in a way that I feel so insecure? I remember that day, usually I go with my husband for each of my fertility treatments. And I said to him, I said, I can't visit you. And he said, come for this particular check. It was transvaginal scan. He said, come for this check on a weekday. I said, my husband will not be available to come with me. So put it back on weekends that we usually come. He said to me, if you don't come this weekend, I will not be in Lagos by weekend, so I won't see you. And I needed to be sure I was ovulating. So I went on my own. And that was the day that it happened. So sometimes these situations, they are not ordinary. You know, I don't want to see this. And I believe that if an allegation of this seriousness is made against a person who has a professional reputation to prevent, you don't wait for police. You don't wait a year. Right, let me take this call from Timmy from Alimosho. Timmy, are you there from Alimosho?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. As a married man, you see, the closest person to you is your wife. You understand? I feel, you know, this, kind of allegation made by these so-called doctors, by can't be, made up by the woman, regardless of that differences. You get what I'm saying? This man is a rapist, alleged, or, whichever name you want to call it. I see no reason why the Nigerian police force is taking this wrong. Let them arrest the Yahoo boy now within 30 minutes. Once you charge the court. No matter how good the doctor is, that is why I don't allow my wife to go over my former phone. You understand? What you make a madirada, this man, she take this case with serious,
Thank you, Mr. Tim. All right, so
my brother has this tune. I don't think he ever released it. It's called Oga Doctor. And he composed that tune because of his wife at the time, her experience with her gynecologist. And he didn't like it. He didn't like it. So in that song, he says, we need our women to treat our women for us. Why will a man take his nonsense hand and put it in my woman's... So men generally do not like male gynecologists, especially if they're not above board.
How would you know?
How would you know?
Something happens before you realize the person.
There must be regulation.
I don't want to...
I want us to bring this conversation back to this matter. Let me take this call. I'll come back to YK. Mrs. Lawal, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning,
Morning, madam.
Please, I just want to contribute to what you said. The same thing has happened to me for a few years now. So the guy, that day I was on fertility stuff in a hospital in I'm forgetting the name of the hospital. So when I did go there with a friend, the friend is a nurse. She was the person that maybe the nurse, the man, the doctor. So on this particular day, we want to examine for what your partner, now relation session. So he now said, I should pull off my clothes. Normally, I have to pull off. Then he said, my friend cannot call me. The nurse there, she cannot call me. I'll be the only person with him to be in the office, right? So I did say what he said. So he was just saying, I pulled off. He now came in and said, let him test. I said, okay. They start touching some funny part like my dress. And I went down towards my vagina. I was like, what are you trying to do? I don't want to test you to make sure if you are ovulated. I was like, doctor, please, go straight to the point and do what you are supposed to do. So now I just saw him pulling off his trousers. I was like, what happened? Or he now said, I want to make sure to know that maybe I'm really good in bed. But if my husband cannot do it, let him try it. I'll be productive. Bang.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Laval. I want us to bring it back to this matter because there's one thing of the doctor's malpractice in his office. But it's a whole different thing where in your house, a child is being molested. Your husband is molesting your niece or your sister. That is the real conversation. We need a whole day. I mean, we have a part 2 of this. Because, interestingly, I was lucky enough recently to have a meeting with my old classmates from Corona, and we're talking. And some of them were not married. And they were telling me some of these issues. Some people were giving me gist of guys in this situation where they are cheating on their wives with the most unlikely people. And the reasons they were giving, I was like, hey, we need a show on this. But that's a different matter. But let's come back to this girl. Why are husbands, even did this happen, it's still an allegation, why would you molest somebody, a niece, a minor? That's a crime.
See, that the wife even reported this, knowing how a lot of people like to cover up. I mean, I commend her, and I also commend Princess for constantly using her voice, being that loud voice in the wilderness. This is not an easy thing to come and say, to call out somebody, especially someone who is, well, who has influence, you know. And, you know, sometimes I'm afraid for her when the way she talks, and, you know, she calls out almost everyone. And I just say, well done to that. We have constantly said to people, you know, when you see something, say something. But I know that with this sort of case, it's because the people that are the perpetrators are husbands, fathers, brothers, you know, if they are male, or aunties, uncle, mothers. They're so close, they're close family members. It's hard to want to call them out for their bad behavior. You're afraid of what the consequences and repercussions will be on their lives, on their careers. And for them to, I mean, for his wife to have done that, we thank her for that, because it's also about that child. Eventually, that child, a lot of the victims are further victimized because no one wants to call out the adult. But this child will forever be grateful to them that they are, you know, her experience is not being pushed under the rug, and allow a child, apart from the trauma of being abused by an adult, just the trauma of being re-victimized and made to shut up and made to live with what it is that has happened to her and pretend it never happened to her. And
let me take this call from Chude, because in fact, maybe we should unpack this story. As I say, it's a bit under investigation right now, but we need to talk about it based on the fact that it can happen to anybody. Let me take Chude. Chude, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry. So
I wanted to quickly say that, you know, to join Miriam in commending the wife, you know, for a woman to do this, not sacrifice family for marriage. What you see women do is when incest happens, mothers sacrifice their children for their marriage. Women sacrifice their cousins, nieces, sisters for their marriage. Children for their marriage. So for a woman to say, I would risk it, whether it's a false allegation or not, I'm saying that she even tried to report it. It's commendable that she did the right things. She went to an institution, she reported. Such a woman should be encouraged by the system, not frustrated.
By the system.
Because it is 1 in a billion. It is rare to find.
Yeah.
We don't see women come out like this.
Let me take this call, Waka, I'll come to you. Chude is back. Chude, are you there from Bega?
Yes, Morayo.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Morayo, and
the ladies of
and others.
Yes.
Yeah, ladies on the table. It has been a long while.
Yes, good to have you back.
Yes, I want to comment about what you are talking about.
Yes.
You see, in my place, there is an adage that says, when a child is crying and pointing at somewhere, if you go there, it's either the mother is there or the father is there. So what Princess is saying, if you investigate it, she has a point, something is there. You see, I happen to have that experience going to a gynecologist who is a male with my wife. The way that man handles women is what I don't like a bit. And I don't think I can tolerate it. That is the reason why that period I decided to leave that hospital. Because the man is not doing his job. And again, I am wondering, why is it that a female doctor consultant cannot handle the issue of a fellow woman? If it's left for me, I would say let the women go to the female doctors, let the men go to the male doctors. Because we hear a lot of nonsense going on. I have that experience. Some of them will want to do something funny, just like Nima said. And I can't come to see a doctor with my wife. A doctor is telling me to leave the presence of my... It's not done. Thank you very much.
Okay, so there's another... Okay, let me let you jump in here.
Yeah, because I was going to say there are malpractices. We know that some doctors...
Take advantage.
Yes. I've been to a doctor before where he was an Indian guy, you know. I went with maybe a headache, and it is my breast he was checking. I was like... and I was really young then, and I was like,
oh, wow. What's going on? Yeah.
You know, and I remember walking away from the hospital and feeling really, really awful. But where some doctors are actually honest, some are a majority of them are actually genuine gynecologists. we are clamoring for female gynecologists. Like in Dubai, you can't see any male gynecologists there. They are female. My friend works there. She's female. Where will you put the male gynecologists if you want to say, okay, women shouldn't go?
Yeah, but why? There's a procedure. So I saw several male gynecologists.
That's what I witnessed with you. That's what they do.
Yes, there's one in Surulere. It was
examining you. Was a female nurse be there.
Whenever you're doing that procedure, there's always a female nurse. There's always a covering. And every procedure he explains, but you would know those ones, not him.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word. Those ones who they would disregard you when they want to do it.
Yeah.
They are so confrontational. There's a language. I remember that particular one. If you don't come on Wednesday, I really will not be able to, and you know, this month will just pass. I had to start searching for alternatives. Then when the hospital changed that gynae because we raised that issue, the next gynae would regard you. He's elderly. He will talk to you about the procedure before he comes into that procedure. Then there will always be the matron, not just any nurse. You usually would request that the matron sets up the place and waits there before he proceeds to do it. So you know you're at least you're protected.
That's what the responsible ones
There's
do.
another angle that we've not talked about, which I think is important, because I know the Nigerian police are trying really hard to clean up their image. You know, they come up with all these tweets, keeping us informed, trying to tell us they send their officers new uniforms. They're doing a lot to begin to implement some of the things we demanded in doing NSAS. And this is another angle that I would like the police to, the Inspector General of Police, to see to, because why is it taking a legal department 6 months or maybe 10 months? But let us, for the benefit of this conversation, 6 months to investigate and charge a case to court. That is the issue. See, if that can be answered by the Inspector General of Police, we'll be happy, because the truth is that if you're not well connected, and this kind of case is brought against you, within 24 hours or 48 hours, being charged to court. But people are saying that maybe because Dr. Femi is Dr. Femi and is well connected, maybe that's why the case is dragged. We don't know. But the legal department of the Nigerian police must speak to us and tell us what is taking so long.
Let me add, another angle is that the federal government, we need to sit up about the age of a minor. We have places where people are getting married to 12-year-olds, 13, 14-year-olds, and they have used their culture and different things to back it up. And then we have another person. And you know, someone could abuse a minor and say, well, I meant to marry her, or she's my girlfriend. So we need to, you know, legislatively, as a policy, we need to put an age that is acceptable. And for me, I think it's from 18. 19 or 20. For me, honestly, personally, I think it's 21. Yeah. Anything below that is she's a minor. So we need to do that. The Ministry of Women's Affairs needs to look into this.
So what about those senators that are marrying small children?
That's what I'm saying. What she's saying. Because you can defend yourself and say, I married this person is my wife.
Let me take Tayo.
Really, the Child Rights Act makes it.
Let me take Tayo. Tayo, are you there?
On the crowd.
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, first time for
welcome to the show.
Yeah, I've always been trying. Concerning this issue, I have 3 kids, and one of the things I do while my wife was pregnant was that anytime she goes for hospital, I'm always with her doing scans and others. But concerning, this is not an allegation, but concerning the doctor in question that was mentioned, last week my wife was telling me about this doctor. Because in our hospital, in our former office, there was a time they did the cervical screening stuff, and it was the doctor that led the team to come and do it. And she now mentioned it to me that this same man, my wife also was watching online, this same man, after examining her, told her, woman, don't you have a child? She said, I have 3. He said, but you still look very tired, that you have cheated nature. And she said, I have a 3. Via CS. So the man examined so much that could be saying that, admiring a woman, so was still very tight. And eventually she even mentioned to me that our friend, the doctor told a friend also in the same office, saying that, after examining, that on the private side you look very beautiful, that you look attractive. Adding all this to this, I didn't want to believe when the story was flying, but when I started now discussing it from the bedroom, and from what she said, telling my wife how you have cheated me, so you are still very tight. So, but my opinion is that she has the 3 kids through the government hospital. I guess, sadly, for now, we are not hearing these things from the government hospital, general hospital we have in Lagos.
Right.
Sadly, have some...
All right, so these kind of things happens around the world. You know, molestation, medical malpractice, where you take advantage. And because the system protects you, if you make a report, you're almost sure that you get some kind of justice. And the reason why we make it such a big deal here is because many of these cases go unheard. Nobody knows about them. In this case in particular, our desire is that the investigation is expedited and taken to court. But as I said, there are still allegations. I mean, as much as we like to assume this is exactly what happened, it's always good to hear both sides. And that's why I had to call Dr. Femi this morning, because I know him. And I've been examined by him. And I don't want to believe that that examination was recorded or in any way. I want to believe that it was a clean and true examination that happened. So it's important for us to hear from him very clearly. We also called him during the show, and he said that he's not ready to join issues with anybody at this time, that when it is time, the facts will be released. We're waiting for the facts. Let us see what other facts you are. But as of today, what we have on social media, what we've heard from Princess, is that this young girl was violated, and she's been confessed, and Mirabel Center has examined her and confirmed that she was indeed defiled, and that the wife has is the one that has raised this issue, and hopefully we can get some kind of investigation.
The truth of the matter is that he does need to defend himself.
Yes.
Because the allegations are too...
weighty.
Yeah, for him not to at least come out and make a statement, deny, or, you know, he really does need to defend himself.
He needs to either not be there, not that a clear case of setup. You know, his statement, the statement bothers me. He said, this is for my wife. He made it a domestic issue and then said that this is a clear case of setup. Yes. You don't want to be set up by a girl under 18, under the Child Rights Act.
Or by your wife either. No,
leave your wife issue. If they are setting you up, let it be a girl above 18. Under the Child Rights Act.
Oh, I just got what you're saying, that even if they're going to set you up, is he a minor? Okay, got you.
Yeah. Don't just be set up. Have a clear case. It's either I did not do. It's a case of I did not do safe. Let the fact just say he
because
did
he's
it.
a really popular, big... I mean, these are people that...
I
mean, there was an event he did that about 10 governors' wives showed up. These are
Dr. Femi now, a phone call and everybody's lining up.
Very high net worth person.
So women.
And I can understand. He's very popular. I mean, he's like the reference point for breast cancer. When you think breast cancer, the first thing you need is Dr. Femi Olaleye. So that's why he needs to say something. He needs to hopefully defend himself and let us know what happened.
Yeah,
he needs to have his day in court
when it's in court, they don't say anything. If the case is already with lawyers, they don't say anything until the case is done. But with the police, they've said that they have not filed it yet. So I feel that this is a good opportunity to speak up for himself.
I'm sure they will file it in the next 2 weeks.
I hope so, because the idea is that the reason why we cannot just look away, because it could be your niece tomorrow.
Yes,
it could be somebody's child tomorrow.
It could be you.
It could be somebody. So we cannot see a case like this and look the other way. We're doing it not because of this case, but for other cases. We need to let the police know that we are watching, and we're putting them under pressure. The legal department of the Nigerian police, because the police has made a lot of allegations against the Nigerian police, and they must come out to show otherwise.
I still can't forget this young kid that they brought on our show that was defiled by her.
Oh, yes, that little girl.
You know, I remember that.
I wonder whatever happened to her.
Still disturbs me till today. And I do not believe that child got justice. She was about 3.
Little girl.
Yes. Little child.
Little child.
And the police at that time covered it up. And I can never forget it.
Yes, I remember that case. Let's take a few comments on social media so we can run off. We have to wrap up the show very soon. A few good comments or not so. Let's not get any...
Ogumole says, here in the UAE, every obstetrics and gynecologist doctor or specialist have female assistant with them. What do these vagina and all gynecologist assessments for them? I see why Islam protects women's privacy now. Tom Odim says, if Nigerian police really want to work, they do. But if corruption is involved, they compromise from sex scandal issues.
Yeah, so Williams Olajimoke says, I believe this is where women should step up and support this cause. Breaking the barrier is not just about mouth. Everyone should come out and see judgment delivered. Rolake says, we have been silenced by society to conform with things that are absurd because the truth has a price. If the adult refuses to stand for and by the truth, we will continue to breed a toxic environment. God bless Princess.
Ayobam King says, sexual assault is not based on your professional. Any man if he do such should be dealt with. Doing such should be dealt with. You're saying male medical personnel using their professional doing such is not really truth. What about pastor, imam, teachers, neighbor, and so on? We took one this morning on the front page.
On YouTube, there are some arguments. Some are saying, how do you know he's guilty, you know? So, but we have said it here that it's alleged. It's an alleged...
Okay, we have to wrap up. But as I said,
he has to come out and defend himself.
We have to wrap up. But as we said, these are allegations leveled against a very notable, locally and internationally recognized doctor who has done a lot of good work to help breast cancer in Nigeria. I mean, we cannot totally even look away from his achievements in cervical cancer and breast cancer in Nigeria. This is a man that's done a lot of... So he's highly revered and respected. So when an allegation such as this is leveled against him, it's not something we can just talk without proper investigation. That's why this case has been taken to court. And has been taken to the police, reported to the police, but it's yet to be taken to court. And we're wondering what the delay is. And we understand the police might be reluctant for various factors, but we are hoping that we are joining our forces to pressure the police to do proper investigation. If at the end of the day, Dr. Femi Olaleye is exonerated, absolutely. Everybody goes back, life goes back to normal, and then he can begin to rebuild his reputation. But unfortunately, if he's indeed found guilty, then he has to deal with the consequences of that action. So, but either way, investigation must go on, and the case must be filed to court, so we can have proceedings, and we can follow the case. That's really what Nigerians are asking this morning. Nigerian police, the ball is in your court to do the needful.